Hello everyone, welcome back on our Python series. In today's video, we're going to be discussing classes in Python. Now, this video is for beginners and we're not going to dive deep into classes in Python. We're just going to, give some overview about classes to aid us to step foot into the world of object-oriented programming. And yeah, so basically, if you're a beginner, this video is well suited for you. And if you're someone who already knows about classes, I'm not going to tell you to skip it. Stay and watch this video. Thank you. All right, these are the topics we'll be covering in this video. We'll talk about classes, attributes, method, and instances. First of all, what is a class? A class, by definition, is basically a blueprint that allows us to create objects and provide these objects with some functionalities and characteristics. Now, these functionalities could be referred to as methods, and the characteristics are attributes of the class. And, the object itself is also known as the instance of the class. Now, let's see why classes exist in the first place. Let's take a look at a real world example. Imagine you're someone who makes knives or swords. You probably have a shape, made already, let's like a frame where you pour your molten lava into to get, your iron to form that sword shape. Yes. So the shape you already have, that existing shape into which you pour the molten lava, is what we'll refer to in programming as the class. And whatever knife you get out of that shape every time or each time you pour the molten lava into the shape is the instance of that class or the shape. So that's why we have classes in programming or in Python in this case. So we need to use a particular class to create multiple instances of itself and use it in different parts of our program. So let's take a look at an example here. So this is how you create a class in Python. You type the class keyword followed by the name of your class and the semicolon. Just be careful and always remember that your class has to start with a capital letter. And then now you can see there's a variable called sharpness, to which we assigned the value 20. So the sharpness is from 0 to 100. So initially we gave 20 as our default sharpness. And then we have a function here. If you remember very well, this is how we create functions in Python. But functions within classes are known as methods, and attributes within classes are known as what? Oh, I've already spotted. Variables within classes are known as attributes. So here you have a function and here you have your attributes. Now this function is doing something, but we'll come back to what this self is later. But let's take a look at what it does. It just takes this sharpness here and then, assigns the new argument we'll be passing into the function once we call it. Now, let's take a look at how to use our class in the first place. So here we have a variable called my sword, and my sword has been assigned the instance of this class here. So when you write your class, the name of your class, and put this parenthesis in front of it, it is called instantiating the class. So we instantiated the class and assigned it to the variable my sword. Now we did the same thing here again. So you can see we have multiple instances of the class. You can create as many as you like depending on the needs within your program. So to access attributes or functions or methods, attributes and methods from a class through its instance, you use the dot notation here. So you put my sword dot, then followed by the name of your attribute or your function. Is the same way we do it. So I have the sharpness of each instances printed out. So let me run this code. Now you can see my sword, is 20% before, your sword is 20% before. Now let's use this self sharpness to see what's going to happen. Now we want to increase this sharpness, which is an attribute that belongs to the class itself. So how do we do that? We simply call the method on an instance of the class, right? So let's print the value of the sharpness after we've sharpened. So this function here is the sharpen function, and we pass in the level by which we want to sharpen our sword. So let me just put 30 here. Now, as you can imagine, if we increase the sharpness by whatever value, this sharpness here will change, right? So let's run this code again. Now you can see my sword is 50% after. Now the reason why, okay, and you can see also your sword, the sharpness of your sword still remained the same. Now the reason why you have this phenomenon or whatever you might call it is because of this self keyword here. Now this self keyword points to the instance of the class, not the class itself, the instance of the class. So when we instantiate our class, we and we pass. However, first of all, before I go into that, whenever you're creating a function or a method within your class, you need to put the self keyword. It's compulsory. So this is what's happening. So when we call this function here, sword.sharpen, this self keyword points to my sword here. It doesn't know about your sword. It only points to the particular instance of the class. So the self keyword points to the instance of the class, not the class itself, right? So that's why you can see that the value of the sword here, your sword after sharpening it, is different from the value of my sword. If I sharpen my sword by your sword by 20%, then the value of your sword will be changed as well. So let's run this code again. Now you can see my sword. Let me change this to, I did not put this well, your sword. So when I run this code again, now you can see my sword is 50% after sharpening it by 30, and your sword is 40% after sharpening it. So this is how you instantiate a class and, access values from the instance of that class. By accessing values, I mean the attributes or the method. Now, let's go a step further. Here, you can see we have something different. Aside the sharpening method that we had before, we can see that we have an init method here. What does this even mean? Now, this init method is a special method that comes in hand with classes, especially when you want to create classes with different, features. So now we want, in this case, we just created our sword class with, basically they have nothing else to it. We can't tell the make of our sword. We can't tell what year it was made and all of that. So to resolve that issue, we use the init method. Now this init method gets called automatically once you instantiate your class. Now whatever parameter you pass into the init method should be the argument you pass when instantiating the class. So, and you can see here, we always pass in the self method before any other parameter of the function. Now this self.brand here is an attribute belonging to the instance of the class, not this parameter that we passed here. You can change this name to whatever you want it to be, but make sure that whatever value you're assigning to this variable here, or this attribute here, sorry, this attribute here is the same as the parameter that you pass into this function definition here. So, and after doing all of this, you'll basically be able to get the brand, year made, and color out of the instances of the sword. So now you can see we created a sword here called Excalibur. So yeah, so this is the Excalibur sword, and we gave it, a year. The year it was made, it was in the 1500s, and the color is red. I've never seen a red color, so let me just put a silver color here. I don't know why I did that. So now you can see here we'll be able to get different features that are separate for each instances of the class. So let me show you the example in the console. So when I run this code now, you can see my sword brand is Excalibur, and your sword brand is Excalibur too. What's going on? Okay, yeah. So I didn't change it here. So your sword here. Like this, let's run this again. Now you can see your sword is different from my sword. Mine is Excalibur and your own is Masamune. Yes. So that's how classes work basically. And you can get different, values out of it and modify each, basically instance to do whatever you want them to do. So yeah, that's it for classes. In this video, we're going to dive deeper into classes in another video and look at how to do more stuff with them. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.